Hey there, you lovely internet people. I'm Lady. It's Monday, and that means it's time to take a look at some of the games coming out over the next 7 days that have caught my interest in between playing Silksong. We're mixing it up as we're covering not 5 but 10 games this week, and I hope you find something that floats your boat. Or you can at least have a laugh at my terrible taste, which is a distinct possibility with one of the picks. If you would like to support the channel, please drop a like, comment and subscribe. I'd love to hear what's made it onto your list this week. And with that, let's dive right in and look at 10 new games being released this week that I think are pretty cool. Candy Shop Simulator. Dive into a sugary world of sweetness is the tagline of this latest simulator game brought to you by Games Incubator, and it looks just as sweet as the name would suggest. The game isn't just about cashing in on those delectable treats, it provides a great deal of depth. It's not just about stocking shelves and selling your confectionaries in store, you also get the option to go out and about into the neighbourhood and deliver door to door for that much more personal touch. For those of you with a bit more of an artistic flair, you can create and customise your treats to your liking in the game kitchen, build the shop of your dreams using the intuitive editor and expand your culinary empire. Then flex your business acumen by promoting your shop and building a loyal customer base through savvy marketing plays and good customer service. This is honestly a game I can see myself sinking hours into, and if you want to try before you buy, there is a demo currently out on Steam with the full game due to launch on the 9th. Bubsy in the Purrrfect collection. Okay, I know I'm getting weird looks for this one, but I can't help but be intrigued. For those of you not in the know, Bubsy is a 90s mascot character that had a number of average to okay 2D games, released across most retro platforms, and they're getting the remaster treatment. They were solid but not spectacular, and admittedly not a series I've played previously, but with the quality of life additions I'd be willing to give them a go. The games are bright and colourful and full of that 90s charm? Or should that be cringe? But I know the originals have their fans, so there is clearly something there to at least worth a look. However, what I'll admit, while I would certainly enjoy the 2D entries, that's not the main reason I'm interested in this collection. I'm here for one reason and one reason only. One of the worst games of all time, Bubsy 3D. You see, I owned this as a child, and it utterly destroyed me. And call it morbid curiosity, I'm interested in seeing if they've managed to get it into a state where it's at least a little enjoyable, or at least tolerable. And while the original game certainly deserves the moniker of one of the worst games of all time, I do have some nostalgia for it, and a little bit of sympathy for the original devs team. Honestly, the story around Bubsy 3D's development is really interesting and somewhat tragic, and if you have any interest in gaming history, it's worth a look. Bubsy in the Purrrfect collection is due out on the 9th. Gloomy Eyes is a gothic and slightly dark puzzle platformer, brought to you by Art France, among others. Seriously, there's like 6 dev teams listed. Based on the VR game of the same name, which Colin freaking Farrell narrated, and taking some inspiration from Tim Burton aesthetics, and games like The Shady Side of Me and Little Nightmares, you play as 2 characters, Gloomy and Nina. Gloomy is a sweet little zombie boy who just wants to play, and Nina is a mischievous human girl, and using both of their skills you must bring daylight back to the land. You do this by switching between both characters and using their unique skill sets to progress. For example, Nina can't pass through darkened areas with zombies, but can travel through light areas, and vice versa for Gloomy, so it's up to you to figure out how to make the path safe for both of your compatriots. As previously stated, the game has a gorgeous visual style that really fits the cozy horror vibe the game is going for, and the music is suitably ambient from the pieces that I've heard. Also, the narrative is pretty interesting, with the sun leaving due to growing tired of the stupidity of humans. This caused the undead to rise from their graves, and the humans to flee to the cities initially, before someone called the priest, who is Nina's uncle, rallied them to take their land back. I'm curious to see if there are any additional undertones to the story, as it certainly seems like it could get pretty dark. Gloomy Eyes is out on the 12th. Orcdom. Orcdom is a top-down pixel art tower defense game brought to you by Gaga and OKJoy. Your aim is to defend your crystal from the ensuing horde of orcs and make your way through the campaign to emerge victorious. It features a dynamic tower placement system that means you can place units anywhere on the map instead of along a linear path like a lot of tower defense games, and each of the unique maps has a distinct environmental property that adds some extra strategy and hazards to each encounter. For example, the snow-laden level, you have to provide additional heat sources to ensure towers don't freeze. This inevitably becomes a balancing act of resource management and aggression. Thankfully, the game lets you adjust the towers on the fly and you have a number of powerful magic spells at your disposal. But, as with a lot of these games, timing is the key, as you only get one shot. Unleash too early and you'll only hit a small number of foes. Too late and you might get overrun by your enemies. There is also a deep level of customization with towers, of which there is a wide variety, being able to get additional buffs through the use of equipable runes, which is useful due to the varied orc units which each bring something new to the table. A simple premise but with a lot of strategic depth. Orcdom is due out on the 11th. The Little Tomb, the Mahalova Club and the Search for a Dead Body. Okay, I know this one sounds like it should be on some kind of watch list, but stay with me. Just for the premise alone, it's worth a look. And if there was ever a game that screamed, I am from Japan, it's this one. The Little Tomb is a quirky coming-of-age story about a young keyhole boy called Kofun, who believes he is an ancient Japanese tomb, and is just looking for a dead body so he can fulfill his purpose. I told you the premise was kinda wild. Kofun is accompanied by Hanawa, a funerary clay sculpture boy who is helping him to experience the outside world. And how do you do this? By performing small tasks around the game world and unlocking action points, which in turn give Kofun more skills or could point to hints for larger puzzles. As you complete your to-do list, you'll open up Kofun's horizons and the game world, and maybe, just maybe, complete Kofun's goals. Like a lot of games out this week, there is a demo available if you want to experience the uniqueness of this game. And I will admit, this one is certainly out there, but it looks charming and silly and I couldn't help but add it to the list. The Little Tomb, the Mahalova Club and the Search for the Dead Body is out on the 10th. Bacterian. Bacterian is a top-down Sokoban pixel puzzler brought to you by Error 300. In it, you play as a brave immune cell who is tasked with eradicating various pathogenic nasties. And how do you do this? By squishing them with a block. This game seems to have a real focus on movement, as enemies don't stay idle and wait for you to destroy them. They move around the map fast and lay traps to catch your brave cell unaware. The blocks are not just used for destruction. You can use them to block off enemy paths, so there is a level of strategy to beating each of the game's 100 levels. Yep, you heard that right. 100 levels across various different organisms, each with their own mechanics and enemy types. So this game certainly fits the definition of easy to pick up and hard to master. On top of that, the game comes loaded with a level editor, so you can create your own hellscapes. Although it's currently not clear if you're going to be able to share those levels with other people. So if you're looking for some polished pixel art visuals, funky chiptune music, and a little bit of brain bending, Bacterian comes out on the 11th in early access, with a demo available now. The Trolley Solution. I certainly seem to be leaning towards the weird and wonderful this week. The Trolley Solution is a point-and-click game based around the infamous trolley problem, devised by philosopher Philippa Foot, and brought to you by Dan Dans. The game comprises of 20 variations of the original premise, with minigames unlocked for each variation that promise to tax your brain and hopefully give you a bit of a chuckle. Each unique minigame will have a new gameplay element to try out, and you have to try to figure out the best or worst solution depending on whether you're listening to your angel or your devil. I also really love the clean monochrome style used in other games such as Echochrome, which I also love, which adds a surrealist feel to the game, and the relaxed soundtrack looks to be something you can just vibe to. The Trolley Solution is out on the 12th of September. Goodbye. Goodbye is a short story-driven game about an old lady who is trying to reconnect with her granddaughter, and her interactions with a mysterious guest, the one who's waiting. You go through the day, through your cozy routine, completing task after task until it's finally time to take care of your unexpected guest. You can explore the environment as the grandmother and take in the slates, feed the birds and bake buns, and wander to your heart's content, but remember, eventually you will have to face who or what is coming. Featuring an emotional, heartfelt story, calm and soothing soundtrack, a warm, cozy environment, and voice acting, Goodbye looks to be one of those short but sweet experiences that will stay with you long after you've completed the game. Goodbye is from Amabed and is due out on the 10th. Starbirds. Starbirds is a relaxing asteroid base building and resource management game brought to you by Tucana Interactive, in which you help a race of spacefaring birds thrive and prosper by scanning and claiming nearby asteroids, before then building facilities to process the raw resources and manufacture increasingly advanced goods. Upgrade your space station and shoot for the stars to plunder the unknown depths of space and uncover all of its many mysteries. The game is procedurally generated, so that means that no two playthroughs will be the same, and each asteroid presents its own unique challenges as you attempt to figure out the optimal supply network that will match your asteroid shape and area. And with 360-degree building, this is a vital skill to master. Build, expand, explore is the game's mantra, and it's not just building resources you have to manage, but human, or should that be avian resources. You'll get requests from your intrepid avians that will need to be fulfilled to progress the campaign. I also have to say the game looks gorgeous, with a vibrant art style inspired by Kurzgesagt, an edutainment YouTube channel which is seriously awesome. And it seems to take a little bit of the humour from them as well. Starbirds is due out in early access on the 10th. Little Problems, a cozy detective story. Brought to you by Posh Cat Studios, Little Problems, a cozy detective story is a detective game about solving minor inconveniences, everyday misunderstandings, and of course, little problems. Unlike similar games of its ilk, it's not about saving the world or complex tales of villainy. Instead, it's about enriching the world, connecting with friends, and understanding the small but not insignificant issues of daily life. The real joy comes from the simplicity of resolution and finding your way through this crazy thing called life. Presented in a beautiful anime style with bright, colourful character portraits and an extremely chill vibe, Little Problems is the kind of game you play when you just want to sit back and relax and go with the flow, as I'm pretty sure there will be at least one scenario here we've all experienced at some point. Little Problems is out on the 9th. So that's my list. Is there anything that caught your attention too? And have I missed anything you found interesting this week? Let me know below, and all the links to the games are in the description. Have a good one, and I'll see you next week. Bye!